Have a Wukong on top of it to defend it, or a massive shield from a Karma.
Let's see whether they can get any more. As the Arcane Shift out of aiming, that may spell the end of it. However, Korea goes forward, finds a bit of value, but will get snared. And now, even with the minions contending for it, that's a lot of damage towards Korea. But now it's the return journey. And that time, the flash is answered by Lucid. Aiming has a barrier, but does not have his life anymore. And the hook from downtown! That is the Korea we wanted. The bans are about. As already, I mean, he is finding the angles. The flash forward, he manages to catch aiming after the Arcane Shift, and now Smash comes forward. Another knock-up from Lucid, and Smash collects his third of the game. Hey, do you know what the best thing is? As Korea is going to have to get out of here because there's a Realm Warp coming on forward. No flash available for Korea, as now Smash, I don't think he's going to be helping. And Korea does connect the anchor, but he's dead before it actually...
Then Showmaker, if it hits, could be disastrous, maybe even game-ending.
Well, Effort, I think, will need to no, he'll need to die. He's just going to die. So Showmaker going to pick that.
And Cuz was on the wrong side of the map, finds himself about 400 gold behind himself.
Speaking of the wrong side of the map, there's a Killer Instinct out of Smash. Cuz gets into position, though, and that is a Cyclone and a very dead Kaiser.
Okay, now we are going to see Shiu dove, but he has got this Mega.
Yeah, Mega is in a great position. They do really need to respect the ultimate, but there is the Condemn, as she will go down.
You know, only level 2 right now, so I don't think he's going to the Dragon.
Effort is just going to get flashed on and killed once again in the river. And she be confused with the Zoolander look. It's a steal of the blue buff. As now, Cuz goes in, goes out as they look for Effort. Cataclysm onto aiming, gets the Arcane Shift. A bunch of buttons now on cooldown, but KT still feeling all right. Showmaker getting closed in on. Shockwave collects only one of them, and they take down the Orianna. The target selection's so good, but on the other side, the same thing happens as DK wipe out the bottom lane. Now, Korea goes in, misses the hook, but hits the depth charge, and BDD gets knocked up and taken down. It's a double for Smash as another anchor lands onto Perfect, and it's a triple. Space Vane is better than regular Vane, as there is the Void Seeker as well. That's going to get a cheeky little assist there for Smash. Now, Shiu uses it to get himself a couple of plates in this mid lane as well, and push KT completely away from this Dragon. So somehow, it actually works out as he gets the nod to get him out of the Cyclone. The Realm Warp does nothing at all as they opt out of that play. And now without Cyclone, KT cannot team fight at all, ever. They still might have to, though, as the Shockwave needs to get flashed out there by BDD. In goes Shiu, looking for an angle once again. He's down very low. That Steric Shield did some work, but they do take out the Gnar. Smash gets the Void Seek on the aiming, somehow threading the needle into the back line. And KT, he can block off so much terrain with the orb. Korea is there as well.
They're trying
as the Baron has been taken. Cuz this time doesn't hit the Warrior Trickster, as he does finally press the button, but there's the depth charge onto Perfect. Shockwave mops up the monkey, and DK are looking for even more. KT running the wrong direction. The exhaust is good from Perfect. That'll keep him alive with the Inspire Shield there as well, but the rest of DK swoop in and look to take down BDD. That'll be their first prize as Perfect teleports away. I just don't think that that's going to be winning them the game, as DK are just looking to finish off the stragglers, aiming being one of them, as the Arcane shifts away. The flash in from Lucid hits him again with that QE flash. And DK will break open the base now. Let's see whether they can even push to end.
I think they can. There's just not enough wave clear here anymore. BDD is down for 30 seconds. That should be the game. D+, one small error, but one we can easily forgive. KT thought, I'm not giving Baron for free. I'm getting mid-turret. DK said, we're getting Baron, and we're going to get the win right with it.
It's the final hour here for Perfect, and let's see whether he can make it work, as the Shockwave does not connect. The Void Seeker does, though. 4 seconds on the Killer Instinct, but there's no seconds on the Nexus. It's going to be taken.
Very good pick in terms of range. Now, we saw the play from Nangung on this.
All right, here we are. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Summoner's Rift. As the flash stun onto BDD, the Bone Skewer as well. They're looking to focus him down, but it's Showmaker that dies first. Oh my goodness. Sometimes the game is kind of done at level 1.
Are we going to watch 2 games back to back?
Jace into the arc. We know.
Effort.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Smash. This is not where he wants to be. Does find himself a satchel that is just going to run into the bushes and die.
Not going to like what he sees here, at least initially.
Well, he isn't going to see it. That's the problem, as he gets lit on fire and will be taken out. Good resonating strike there. to claim the kill for Lucid. And now Cuz is dead and he's going to lose even more of his jungle. Lucid actually starting a snowball rolling just in his matchup alone, as the Bone Skewer going to collect effort as well. Great satchel to follow it as he gets the flash. Beat drop comes down though, and Smash could be dead again, as never mind, Lucid's here to save the day, and safeguards out. So D
Gonna be greedy like this.
Yeah, that is going to be Spiraling Despair coming down, and Showmaker will take a big boom boom, but he is going to keep himself alive, as now Korea looking to make his way in, gets the flash stun onto Perfect. Perfect is going to flash away. Lucid unable to find. Now Cuz, oh dear, once again going to be discovered in his jungle. The Bone Skewer comes down, he flashes to get out of the stun as Mega Inferno Bomb comes in. There's a kickback onto BDD. He's stunned up by Showmaker as well. Has to flash himself out of the way. The sidestep is just gorgeous, and he'll keep himself alive. Korea has to dash to get himself out of this one, but doesn't have flash, so he's going to get pulled back and murdered. My God, as well, as they're wasting no time looking to make their way in. The wave is going to crash. Let's see whether the Ghoulie Wall can actually save this. Yorick to the skies, and yeah, Korea, you cannot tank those. That is 2 kills. Shiu dies as well.
Yeah.
All right, got another fight as BDD is finally going to die. Cuz gets kicked back, but he just takes them both out. The explosion of BDD's ulti from the Showmaker looking for aiming. And we'll just throw a bear at him. That's a lot of damage onto this Ashe, who's now looking to turn things. There's a kickback. Beautifully done. Doesn't matter if you missed the Q there. Lucid was making sure that Showmaker picks up the kill. But now Cuz is looking to make his way in. There's a teleport as the Encore goes entirely wide. The Grasping Maw, though, doing a whole bunch of work as Lucid delivers the ulti to his teammates. I'm not sure about that one, but Cuz is still going down very low. Mega Inferno Bomb hits onto 2 as Korea can see he's lining up that death from below, but no one is quite in range just yet, and it is just a pick-up.
Misses, but it doesn't matter as another one from Korea this time.
Yeah, I've seen this play before as the stun comes down and Cuz is just dead. Lucid comes and steals it away. Bit of extra money there for DK as the arrow is going to connect. There is the damage from BDD as well, as Lucid looking to try and take down the way. Mega Inferno Bomb to try and follow up. The rest of KT are looking to get here though, and Shiu is very dead. Yeah, trying to kill BDD just seems to be a mistake in this game.
Doesn't really have any weaknesses, but who knows what's going to happen at the end of this game. His career, I don't think you want to go in there.
Oh, good dancing shoes though, as teleport in. We are committing for a fight over a dead Rift Herald, as now Korea down relatively low. Hextech Minefield comes in to try and save him there. Showmaker gets his way forward. The Eye is trying to be protected because just walks over and takes it. Gets the knock up on Lucid as well. The kickback is decent as the Encore doesn't do too much, and down goes Cuz to start this one off. Shiu dives forward as BDD is kept alive with the help of the Mikhails out of effort, and now Lucid seeing what he can do. Ghoulie Wall is going to trap him for a few moments, but does have Showmaker there with that Incinerators. Korea, he's going to get the shutdown, looks for the resets and will not find them. Taken down by aiming is now, the fight seems to be on yet again as Lucid, oh my goodness, lying in wait. I don't know whether he really wants to try and kill Perfect here, because I don't know whether he wins that fight. And in fact, he does not, ladies and gentlemen. I think many of us...
Lucid goes back in. Lucid goes back in alive.
And he goes in again. There's ghouls doing ridiculous things. Lucid
I thought he
needs
learned.
to be very careful. There is an army chasing him down. And the Q is going to finish him off. Now Perfect looking for Showmaker. The Molten Shield doing a bunch of work. He needs another Q, but the army is killing him.
The summon battle.
Oh my goodness. Perfect is just becoming a little bit too big. Mega Inferno Bomb will... what? Comet kills him. Nope, not at all. As the arrow going to connect onto Shiu. He has a blast cone. It's right there, but he's just dead.
Aiming still has the goal lead, but everywhere else is red, even though Perfect has 5 kills to say that Cuz is the lowest KP for KT.
Yeah. Well, he's going to throw down the ulti as Korea. I don't know whether he wanted that Bone Skewer, and he's just dead. Yeah.
That's Pike is willing to use his ultimate to absorb that pressure and look for the turn. Now he doesn't have it.
Well, Lucid is now looking for a possible kick angle here as the bear goes down. There goes Cuz. And now Effort could be in trouble as well. The bouncing bomb's a Mega Inferno Bomb, and Effort is just dead. The Lee Sin catches up to him.
Out the turret.
I mean,
this
Cuz
is a tough Yorick.
never going to come over here, but can they actually win the fight? That's going to be the question as Korea gets a Bone Skewer just to annoy Perfect here momentarily. They turn onto BDD, and Korea finds him and stops him from getting out. That is Showmaker collecting that kill, and they kept the Baron leash. The Lee Sin's dead, though. There are no smites seconds left. Oh, God.
Yorick Penta angle, Atlas?
Yeah, I think it's like we need circus music. We need the yakety sax as this game has gone weird. There is the kill onto the pike, but aiming goes down as well. Showmaker has a molten shield, but not a life. And Perfect is a one-man army, and he's set up for the Baron for KT.
All right. You know what?
No.
I'm not bored of KT. Plus, win this fight. I mean, they might just win the game. KT need to be way more careful than this.
Teleport's going to come in as Lucid. He was holding position as Cuz gets on in there. That is a lot of damage onto Xiu. He goes to the skies though and flashes away. Aiming, looks for the angle. The bone skewer goes wide. There's the final arrow and is going to be able to pick up the Jace. But the KT health bars are getting low.
Perfect's full health though, and he's here.
Korea can see these resets. But Cuz is going to move himself out of the way, and Perfect, like you say, shows up, and that is going to be show's over for DK.
And this tragedy for D+ is, oh, Career's back's going to get stopped. The tragedy for D+ is that the one advantage, they had the huge side lane control and the teleport for Xiu. He just ends up teleporting into an encore. Ahead in kills, they have not, but on the map plays.
Oh, dash cannon value.
That's why you dash
smash,
cannon.
but I just don't know whether he's going to be able to survive. In fact, he will not. He flashes into the Maw that BDD prepared earlier. Oh,
Off the Baron.
if DK are just splitting them apart though,
Yeah.
so they can't stay on the Baron. They're going to go back to it now as they look for Perfect, and they will dive on top of him, committing to the fight this time, and down will go the
And
Yorick.
Lucid's here to stop the backs. Lucid's here to stop the backs.
So is Korea. He's searching for them, seeing whether he can lock them down.
It's going to be the end of it. They get the inhibitor, but that is it.
Very good value here as the Bone Skewer going to connect onto Cuz. They're looking to take down the jungler. Not quite able to, but they get the ulti, which is such a huge deal. Xiu looking for some angles. Shock block. Get minion wave control though as Xiu catches the back minions.
And
BDD
Showmaker
taking some damage there as, oh, Korea, you cannot die here. Arrow not going to connect as he flashes out of the way. The wind becomes lightning as Cuz looking to try and get on in there. Lucid going to be able to take down a red buff as Xiu. The spiraling despair might be exactly that. He does have a GA as he gets himself out, and that is going to be Cuz finished off. Aiming does so much damage, but he needs to find the targets to hit. As in goes Perfect to take him down to the GA as now Ever gets dove on by Xiu. Showmaker is now in the thick of things as BDD gets out of the way of the death from below. The bouncing bombs are so scary, but KT sidestepped them. How is no one on DK dead?
To try to end the game, Career and Lucid are looking for the left side flank here.
Oh, wait, Korea is just dead. He's just dead.
He's done. And BDD is back to deal with the top since I've ever had the pleasure to see, let alone cast, is Xiu.
Oh dear. That's a bunch of Elder Dragon people. And Xiu is really, really dead. Shot is going to spot out Lucid. Connects the Q. The Baron's down very, very low as the Encore is going to miss. He gets into the pin! And Lucid, he gets the steal!
But he dies instantly and they're backing, but they're going to lose more than him. They lose the Jace.
Yeah, now Perfect. I mean, it takes
So desperately.
Yeah, Perfect throws down the Ghoulie Wall. Isn't quite able to get on top of Smash here, but he creates the space.
Don't forget, there's TPs available here for D+ to try to end in the bottom lane if they get an opportunity.
Well, let's just see. As if KT win here, we get another one of these. That's the best part. That's what I'm thinking about this entire time. As Siege Minion goes down, the minion wave has been taken. The Mega Inferno Bomb back up again. And that means that there's just... Lucid is now in such an awkward position as Cuz going to be used as a taxi in order to try and get Lucid out of there. Still, Arrow is going to connect. That will be a deadly sin. Bottom lane as well, but the trade is going to come on through. The Jace does take one down as well.
And they really need to send someone home. Okay, BDD is back.
Yeah, BDD is going to show up. That's going to mean that Xiu is very, very dead. Does take the inhibitor with him, but the Nexus turrets are now being sieged without very many minions. Thanks, Smash.
Well, we'll see if they can push this mid wave. TP is going to come in from Perfect to match Showmaker here as they clear this wave as quickly as possible.
They can get a couple of kills. This could actually be DK finding the win as Aiming gets focused. There's a stun from Korea. Can he actually get on top of them? Though the answer is absolutely not, as Aiming gets so much of his health bar back. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be going to 3 games as the arrow is going to come on through as somehow Smash stays alive. Lucid is able to take down Perfect. And you're right, finally the minion wave comes back, but Lucid goes in, tries to distract them, and I don't think Smash has the damage. BDD flashes on forward, and Aiming finishes off his opposition in the bottom lane. The Nexus will go down, and KT will tie up the series.
Little Darkling doggies. Eventually, you kind of win trades against Varus. long term. Allies take it back.
Yeah, Korea just really wants to press buttons. As Lucid's making his way in, public execution onto the Lulu, who doesn't have the flash. A few Dragon gets started by KT.
I think they have too much control. Showmaker's just gonna look for plates.
Well, Chains of Corruption is thrown out, and in goes Perfect. Teleport from Showmaker, though, and the exhaust is down. Shiu is going to be the one to lock down the second kill here for DK. This time they don't both. But that has a long cooldown, though. And Showmaker, Destiny up and available once again, and he just used it, and that means he's dead.
One of those things can lead into the other, into the Ambessa ultimate. Smash?
Well, he's not going to be able to click the Lantern, as Smash has to get out of there, aiming flashes after him. Moonlight Vigil goes down. The hook connects from Korea, but he doesn't follow up as Lucid turns up, and Cuz is going to get smoked. They still get the ulti out as Lucid dives forward. I just don't know whether he really wanted to. The death sentence isn't that this time. His career is going to miss. Has to flash. No one's dead.
Well, I mean, BDD's on Ahri, but who does he charm? Who does he go in on?
Whoa, the flash gold card comes on through as, oh, effort! Get you a support like effort, everyone! Max was there like, oh man, it would have been really cool if we had killed the AD carry. All right, there's the exhaust down, flashes over Cuz to get over towards Lucid, but aiming comes in to shut down this Varus. Showmaker is now in amongst everyone and should be taken out. BDD's on the board now as well. As BDD is rotating over,
Herald.
Lucid diving on in, the Herald is going to come down. Maybe that's the front line that they require. As Cuz not going to be able to get the smite. Now Lucid diving on forward is now Perfect in trouble, calls the pack, but I think he's still going to be in trouble. Korea looking for a little bit of an engage angle as Shelly might be able to get a knock up, but instead he just bonks her head against the wall, finds the death sentence into Cuz though, and he's going to get wiped out. Smash does so much DPS, however, Moonlight Vigil just barely connects, and Lucid is there with the follow-up. My goodness, DK!
What a god-tier ultimate there from Lucid. Absolutely insane. Substantially, but they just don't have the ability to go through. His Shiu's crazy.
Yeah, what is this? He's 1 versus 5 right now. The Wild Growth to try and hold him in place. He survives for such a long time as finally Perfect is able to take him down, and now Showmaker is going to pay for his sins as well.
Well,
and he had a lot of gusto. I like that. Buy some time for Smack. Soul point now on the cards for KT as Lucid gets into this banana brush. Death Sentence does go wide as Lucid gets in there on top of Cuz. Oh, the Wild Growth on Perfect is so good as they take down Smash. And now KT may have found their team fight. Shiu looking to make his way in as Lucid somehow manages to get out. Chains of Corruption connects onto Effort, who McHale's himself to get on out of there. And the Dragon is now forgotten as they look to chase down DK as they DK tries to make an exit via the KT base, which is not really working out. Lucid will demonstrate. It's all right, Smash. They just get dove on here as once again the doggo comes forward. He takes the Lantern, but Smash may just die, and there's a Wild Growth to make sure that Perfect stays alive. Aiming, collects the double. Lucid might be the triple, but it's Cuz that chomps down on his opposition as Shiu is just flashing for the wave to try and wipe it out as Perfect is now able to get on top of Showmaker as well.
His ultimate, and when that Wild Growth hits, he dies. TP, or rather Destiny.
Yeah, goes in onto BDD as Showmaker holds onto the gold card. He is able to throw it down there as Lucid gets on over the wall. Perfect! Looks to try and get in on top of them once again as the charm connects onto Showmaker, but this time he's going to be okay. Lucid coming on down. Can he stop this Drake from being taken by Cuz? And he is! Shiu now going to get turned up by Aiming though, who has so much money and so much damage. Cuz gets the Wild Growth this time and flashes on top of Smash, but he does have to get himself out of the way as DK look to regain some controllers. My god! Where did the Lulu go? BDD now in trouble. He does manage to take down one on his way out as Aiming is looking to kite as best he can. And the smite onto Cuz is there. Showmaker, he knows he has the rapid fire cannon now available. And the rest of KT are trying to run away. This is still, he is a Trundle. Getting into the pit is so hard. And this Baron is just gone. Shiu has to flash to get out of the way of Aiming, but he's unable to kill Shiu and lands a lot of damage. Now Perfect dives in on top of Smash, but he takes a Lantern to get towards the rest of the team. The public execution could have been the end of the game, but it does not land, and BDD executes the Varus. And, ooh, okay, Perfect is going to dash his way out of there. Does have a few of those in his hands, but he's going to have to flash as well. Takes the Lantern. The mobility kind of ludicrous as now Showmaker getting turned on by BDD. The exhaust comes on through here as well as the pillar is not quite enough, but BDD finds the charm of
10 seconds, and they have enough damage. They're actually going to get this. That's massive. I didn't think they were going to actually be able to get that done, but we are 40 minutes into this game, and Aiming is
blocked that gold card.
Pillar on
See what
shield.
else he can find. Yeah, Pillar is going to be answered by the Lantern. Lucid going forward is aiming, thinks he's found an angle as he cleanses. Chains of Corruption goes right and in goes perfect. Finds another Wild Growth angle, but he has to flash away. The rest of DK bought the spaces. There is the flashing from Showmaker, and Lucid takes the Lantern. He stays alive, but the Arc of Judgment comes in from aiming. Showmaker manages to go into stasis here, but BDD will be able to finish it off. And KT, after the long game has been played, they're looking to take it. The charm connects yet again as BDD is absolutely a robot. He's too good at League of Legends. 4 on the floor. Korea, the last one standing. And KT will remain undefeated in the LCK for 2026.
They'll keep that perfect record. They will take D+ out again. Showmaker looks dejected. They had all the momentum in the world after finally beating Genji after so many years.
They got death.
Inhibitor respawn, but there's 4 dead.
Yeah, they're not respawning this time around as Lucid's still got 16 seconds. Korea's going to try his best, but the Nexus will go down. What an absolute